Welcome back, Nerdiverse. This is the second round of MOTN Random Select, where we choose 8 random genre films, and our group goes through the gauntlet in figuring out which of these 8 films is the absolute best. I'm, of course, Mike G, happy to give introductions all around. First, let's start off with the ultimate one herself, Tootie Odin. What's going on, Tootie?
Hey, good afternoon. How are you guys? Let's fingers crossed for this one.
Yes, we're already fighting the elements on this one. Secrets. Speaking of
Mhm.
secrets, no one has more secrets than the Jedi Master himself. Wash, what's going on?
It's a
Shh.
secret.
It's a secret.
Yes, everything is well, Mike. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy.
All is well. All welcome. There's peace and serenity in the light.
Absolutely, man.
Let's
What
get this show.
happens in Wash's docile, docile stays in Wash's docile.
That's a style, exactly.
A docile?
All right.
Is that some kind of like? Is that some Galaxy's Edge room I don't know about, Doug?
Hey.
The docile style.
It goes
That's
down. It's going down in the docile. It's going down, going down. In the. All right, we got 2 crazy movies we're talking about. One is a Guillermo del Toro original, which technically is not original because these are all based off graphic novels. So this is a Guillermo del Toro directed telling of Nightmare Alley versus some would say is the very first anime character of all time, 2009's own Astro Boy. So I wanted to ask around the room, starting with Toots, how do you feel about these 2 strange movies going head to head?
All right, let's do this again. You know what? I was actually trying to find a common ground between the two because they are very unique. Obviously, one is animated, one is not. That's the biggest difference between the two. One is somewhat of a horror film or thriller, whatever you want to call it. The other is a fun-loving kid movie. The only common ground that I can find between the two is people die in both, which is interesting.
Very interesting. That is a common denominator that will be explored. Wash, what is your thoughts on these 2 strange movies finding themselves in the gauntlet?
Here in 2025, I had never seen either of these movies. So for me, putting both these movies in a gauntlet and swishing them around within, I want to say 72 hours of each other was a interesting, unique experience. And I did go with a shot of Astro Boy with Nightmare Alley as the chaser. So I don't know if things would have went differently had I went the opposite route, but that's where we're at. So yeah, the interesting battle. I've been thinking about it since it was next up, and they're just two different but similar films.
Very good call out. 2 different but very similar themes in these
Themes.
films. Um, and from my experience, I've seen both movies at some point in my life, but only like once or twice. I've never like dived into these or like healing from the rooftops for either, but I enjoyed both. So these being pinned together, as Toot said, is really kind of like apples and oranges, animated versus live action. You know what I mean? Noir drama versus high tech, futurism. But there are common ground themes that make this a fair fight, honestly. So I'm curious to see what everybody thinks about these films and how they stack up against each other. And just
Can't
like
wait.
before, we've already have our picks, correct? Everybody has their in mind pick,
Yes,
and at the end,
yes.
we're gonna. If your mind changes, we have to divulge that your
That's
mind
supposed to be on
changed.
paper, by the way, Michael, not
Yeah,
in your
it's written
mind.
down.
It's all
Mine's
in
written down.
here, baby.
It's
No, I have it.
paper.
I have it.
No,
I have
cop
it.
out. Write it down.
All right, I'll put it on my phone. I'll put it on
Mine's
my
right
phone.
here.
I'll put it on my
All
phone.
right.
Fine.
Yep.
As we speak, I'm just gonna write it out here because I already know which one I want to win. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get this show on the road, shall we?
Let's do
So
it.
let's start off with Astro Boy. Let's do a quick
Hey.
breakdown of Astro Boy before we dive in. Astro Boy is a 2009 film directed by David Bowers. The synopsis is when an android replica of a boy is rejected by his aggrieved creator, he goes off to find his own identity in an adventure that would make him the greatest hero of his time. Did you know the character of Astro Boy first appeared in print as a manga in 1952 by Osamu Tezuka. The manga was adapted into television shows in 1963, 1980, and 2003. Like I said, this is probably the very first anime ever made. There's a lot of pedigree that comes behind this film. So I just want to get everybody's initial thoughts on Astro Boy. Let's start with Watch. What were your thoughts about this film?
Okay, Astro Boy, 2009. First off, the history that you're talking about, I did not know at all walking into it. So I went to the old Roku machine and I typed in Astro Boy, and then like 7 different Astro Boys appear before me. And I'm like, well, what's all this? So I went to 2009, and our friend Nick Cage from our first round film was also happened to be in this, which I was like, hey, I'm stoked. Fun fact: this film cost $65 million to make, FYI. So,
Big budget.
so my thoughts on it, I liked it. It's a nice kid-friendly film. I thought that when we talk about themes, it does deal with some fairly adult themes, which I thought like they really did grief very well in this, and the depiction of it, and what one might go through if one had the resources. So that's more the adult-ish theme. But for me, like we are literally, I don't know, like 2 weeks away from this future in like real time in
Mm-hmm.
2025. So when I'm watching it and then I start thinking about all this deep lore and what, folks in the 1950s were thinking about the future would look like, we're almost right there. So Astro Boy for me, especially someone who's involved or with AI who pays attention to robotics, it's like, man, this future is kind of not too far off. And if this was hiding in someone's closet and it was on CBS tomorrow, I would not at all be surprised. The movie, I had a good time with it. I thought that the Earth being removed from the planet to save itself, I, hey man, I'm not throwing out ideas, but you know, there may be a population or two that's like, this isn't a bad idea. And I went, it's certainly creative.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like that. I did not like the fact that they threw away all the robots and kind of made robot trash out of them because, dude, they're robots. So, like, you know, be nice to robots, man. Trust me, they may uprise.
Don't.
And you don't want to be fighting Astro Boy on the streets of LA. That's all I'm
You
saying.
will
It ain't
lose.
gonna
Dog.
go well.
It's not gonna
Right.
go your way. Dog.
No.
That's
So, initial thoughts.
perfect. Perfect. Toots, lay it on us. What are your initial thoughts of this film?
Okay, so this is exactly what I wrote down. Oops, I kind of moved my camera. I wrote down morbid beginning, cute middle, morbid middle, and classic. So those are the very first words I actually wrote when it came to taking notes to Astro Boy, because I feel like that's exactly the formula that it kind of followed. When the movie first started, I was like, how is this for kids? Like, honestly, how is this for kids? Like, kid dies like almost immediately at the beginning, and it's sad, but it's not too sad. You know what I mean? Like Brian said, it's kind of done well. And Bill Nye has one of the best lines in the movie to me. He says, "If you lose your son and you don't go crazy, then there's something wrong with you." Because obviously they're watching the doctor go nuts and trying to figure out how to bring his son back in a robot form, right? Which eventually becomes Astro Boy. And so they're as taken aback as they are about his reaction to his son's death. They are they're letting him they're letting him do it, which I thought was
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting. And then the other aspect that Brian brought up was something that I noticed immediately, is that the majority of Earth is now no longer inhabitable apparently, and so they move the part that is habitable away from the entire planet. It's literally just floating out in the air. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and not the first time we've seen it. We've seen it in Wall-E. We've seen The Simpsons predicted it similarly in a Treehouse of Horror episode. And yeah, the Astro Boy, I was trying to see what I can find common ground with. Again, I know the story. I've seen it before. I think there's a 70s or 60s version that I watched a very long time ago. And that's the only one I've ever seen. That's the only thing about Astro Boy that I really know, to be honest. But yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is another one that comes to mind that it kind of reminds me of just a little bit. But yeah, initially really sad, and then not. It's super cute, actually. It's a very, very cute film, for sure.
Absolutely. Just out of curiosity too, so are you hearing me clearly by any chance? Am I coming in clearly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You were clear, but you were roboting a little bit. So just
Bummer.
no worries. So just want to ask. I'm gonna give my thoughts. If you can hop in and hop back out, and while I give mine and see if that clears it up maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking would help clear it with our roboting issue. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna kind of hit on those, touch on your bases as well, because you just hit a lot of really good notes, especially like with the comparison to like other media where the Earth kind of separated from itself. Kind of reminds me of the Jetsons in a weird way. You know what I mean? Kind of like how humanity just stopped messing with the Earth itself and built sky castles. You know what I mean? Also reminds me
Everything
of
gets done for you.
yeah, everything's done for you. It's like Elysium, right? Remember that movie Elysium with Matt Damon,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
where it's like the creme de la creme is in the sky, but everyone on Earth is suffering. And this film in 2009 touches on that very well. Toots also alluded this to earlier, so I'll give full credit to Tootie Odin in comparing this movie to almost like Pet Cemetery. You know what I mean? I wanted to not let that slip because
We accidentally potted totally by accident, and yes, I probably should have saved that for the cast. But yeah, it definitely got Pet Cemetery vibes, especially the beginning. The beginning of this movie is wild.
what would you do if your child was
For a child's
lost?
movie, good lord.
Yeah, so that doctor has a lot to answer for. And if this wasn't in the gaze of a child film, this would be a horror, a body horror film, because he's discovering his abilities in very Cronenberg like ways. He gets thrown out of a window and his legs auto transform into rockets. You know what I mean? Let that be spider legs and we're playing a different game. You know what I mean? Like as a child, right? There's themes of heavy grief, like Brian mentioned, like Wash mentioned. The grief is palpable, and his decisions vilify him until they don't. He's redeemed, kinda, but he did a horrible thing in creating this monster, which is Astro Boy, Frankenstein's monster in a bit of a way. You know what I mean?
You know what? I hadn't even considered the whole Frankenstein thing until you're literally just now mentioning it. And this is where like this movie gets kind of weird, and it's like this kid's movie, but there's this much more adult type of thing that is happening within the movie. And that Frankenstein theme, that's almost makes me like look at Nick Cage's character even worse
That's
now.
what I'm
You know what I
saying.
mean? Like, because from one end, at like Tootie's mentioned it, you know, the grief end, it's like, yeah, you feel for this guy, but then when you start talking about creating Frankenstein's monster and his reasons, it's like, oh, that's not super clean cut anymore, is it?
No, the father figure, the doctor, is very much Dr. Frankenstein, right? He is trying to use all of his resources to resurrect his literally dead son.
But it's his job too. You know
It's
what I
not his
mean?
job.
It's not like he said, was like working in his own lab somewhere in the far depths of something. He's like working at his lab
You know what it
and
was?
doing scientific work.
Toots said it early. Say something, Toots. I just want to make sure you're coming in clear.
Hello.
Awesome,
A little
awesome.
better?
A little better.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was like, Toots, guess what he gets to do now? He gets to rebuild his son on the government's dime because his son got killed in a training accident. You know what I mean? Like, and that's anime, and it's so anime, right? It's these childhood themes and an undercurrent of adult drama and adult pain. And you got to think about when this character was created in 1952. This is right after World War II. You know what I mean? This is on the cusp of Pearl Harbor and Hiroshima and all that stuff. He's just about as old as Godzilla, honestly. So it's like, what drives a person to create this painful story about losing a child and using technology to bring them back? Of all those people who passed away
I
in
have a theory.
Nagasaki. Yeah,
Pearl Harbor.
yeah, pretty
Perhaps
much.
there's stories that have been told of young couples or young fathers losing their sons.
And it's a
It seems like it hits very close to home when it comes to Japan and that time of that era.
yeah, 100%.
Theory. It's a theory. That's all.
No, I have a straight through line to that. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that
I
I'm sorry.
hadn't
Did
even
I say Pearl Harbor? I meant Hiroshima. That's what I meant.
same?
Hiroshima.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I
same.
meant. I'm sorry.
There was lives
Sorta.
lost in
Yeah.
Hawaii. So it's like the grief of a parent manifested into I will do anything. And what's Moore's Pet Cemetery? The child, Astro is not Timu at all. Yes, he has glimpses of his son, but it's not his same son. Body without
Toby.
Toby. I'm sorry. Did I say Timu?
Timu's the shopping
Timu's the
website.
shop.
Timu's
Mike,
Timu's
you
the
just
shit.
outed yourself. What are you
Chinese
buying
communist
for
shopping
33
website.
cents, man?
Cheap
You're like,
suits.
yo, bro, I just got
Cheap
500
suits.
straws. I got
Cheap suits.
500 straws, man.
How cheap? Cheap
How
suits.
cheap? Cheap suits.
That's not racist at all. But yeah, Toby is not Astro, and it's like the super pet cemetery thing, where it's like he brought back the body but didn't bring back the soul. You know what I mean? And the father was disgusted by it and banished him from the lands. You know what I mean? Of his own creation, and that's when Astro went to planet Earth and found out there's a whole contingency of humans still living down there and griming it out with junk part robots, and they're having a good bummy time. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that's a lot that's going on in this film. Even the final boss being an amalgamation of just political, just bloodthirstiness. All the guy wanted was to get reelected. All the villain wanted was to just get reelected. He became he became a homunculus of negative energy, which is a weird metaphor. It's just Japan is talking to somebody right there. You know what
Can
I
I just
mean?
sidebar that one real quick? So Donald Sutherland and Nicolas Cage did a terrible job at voice acting these roles. Just so you guys, this is my own personal opinion. I don't think Donald Sutherland really wanted to even do the movie in the first place. I feel like he barely looked at the script, barely looked at his lines, and just like
They
it's just
both
like he
slept.
was like done.
I thought
I
he
just
was
thought it was
good.
terrible.
They
I
sleptwalk.
thought he was great. Yeah,
They,
I thought he was great. I was like, Donald's killing it, man.
they sleptwalk through these roles, man.
I
Donald was
feel
like,
I feel though.
I just want to get elected acting. You know what I mean? But I don't know,
All
man.
right,
I
all
thought
right.
Astro's voice acting was strong. I thought the female protagonist's voice acting was strong.
That's
I th-
Kirsten Bell, I think.
Kristen Bell,
Ah,
Kristen.
Kirsten,
Kristen.
Kirsty. Anything close to Hellraiser. So, uh, my thoughts. Yeah, just to wrap things up. Yeah, I love Astro Boy has a special place in my heart because that was the very first essay I wrote in art school. It was about the birth of anime, and it was about Astro Boy. So I've always loved Astro Boy. I don't talk about it a lot, but he is like my very first college paper was on Astro Boy.
Cool.
And,
I would say I don't think that there's enough Astro Boy love, especially as Tootie was trying to put together some marketing for this reel or this
Mhm.
video, and it's like you start looking online, and it's like, man, do people even know about Astro Boy really, or not so much? And I mean, I didn't know. And thus, even after I got done watching it, I was like, well, let me go check out some of this old stuff because I don't know anything about this, and this dude's kind of cool. So I will say one of the fun things that it made me think about this movie, and it doesn't necessarily have much to do with Astro Boy, but just robots versus robots. Just all types of robots versus robots. You know what I mean? And I was thinking to myself, with the big bad robot that Donald Sutherland plays versus like the robot from RoboCop. Who's the second RoboCop? Like
oh,
the one on two legs.
yeah, Air 209.
Yeah, at 209, for some reason, as I was watching the movie, I was like, dude, this is great. Like, this movie just has a really fun theme, and I think they could get a lot of legs out of it
You know,
if someone want to put some time into it now.
you say that, but there's a lot of RoboCop 2 in this movie where, like in RoboCop, when they made RoboCop 2, the main villain Kane was a bad guy whose soul was put into a robot. And
Yeah.
he all he wanted was this drug called Nuke. So his chest piece would open up and like grab for it, and they would have to put the Nuke in his chest, just like they put the negative energy in the robot's chest with this. And he's fighting the original version of himself. It's like a lot of
Do you
RoboCop 2
think
in
I
this
was
movie.
thinking of RoboCop 2 when I was watching this movie and just didn't make like the correlation?
Maybe like in the corners of your mind, like some kind of weird,
I didn't. All
like
right,
some kind of
interesting.
weird symbiosis of thought. Like
All right.
you just put the bug in my head, Doug. You know.
All right.
Any final thoughts on Astro Boy before we talk about its combatant?
Yep.
So, all right.
Shout out the RRF squad. I like those guys.
Those dudes were real. They had a mission and they failed, and that's okay. They
They
failed their mission.
ran.
They were gonna tickle that guy with a feather.
They were literally programmed to fail, and they could not. Absolutely impossible for them to just, not follow the pro. It's just really funny. It's just good robot humor. I think.
The RF squad rules. I almost want a T-shirt with those ragtag. One was just like a mailbox that's flap spoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
One was
patriots?
a refrigerator, I think. I
Yeah.
like that they had the fists.
Yeah, they had the fists like this.
Funny.
Those guys are
Great.
patriots, Doug. Don't get them. Don't talk to me about the RRF squad, Doug. Uh, s- Speaking of, I don't even know where to start with this damn thing. All right, Nightmare Alley, directed by Guillermo del Toro. The synopsis: a grifter working his way from a low-ranking carnival worker to a lauded psychic medium matches wits with a psychologist bent on exposing him. Did you know that Bradley Cooper claimed that many of the tabletop props in the film were actual possessions of the director himself? If you've seen Guillermo del Toro's house, you know exactly how the stuff came from his
I mean,
house.
Yeah.
if you've seen half his films, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's believable.
What is that show that he show? I forgot what it's called. It was only very brief.
Oh, it was good. Yeah, it was called like
It was just him like
he was like
Curious
the
Cabinet of Guillermo del Toro, something like that.
yeah the
Yeah.
Cabinet of Curiosities or something like that, right?
Cabinet of Curiosity. Something. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty neat little show.
Yeah, he
Pretty
was
neat
like the
little
crypt
show.
keeper, and it was like this giant like curio cabinet of like stories. Yeah, that mess is fire. Watch that. Um,
Yeah.
I think I kind of want to go first on this one, if it's okay, because I have some things to say about this one.
Knock
Um,
yourself out, man.
I've seen this like once or twice, and lately Guillermo's been kind of hit or miss with me. You know what I mean? Just in regards to just maintaining my interest in his films. Like Crimson Peak was one that I went into very excited and was just kind of like, oh man, this wasn't what I kind of paid for. It was a romance. It was a legit romance film, but through the lens of Guillermo del Toro. And in watching this one, as the police come and find me, because I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out my system. This movie took me for surprise because I wasn't sure if it was supernatural or if it wasn't to the absolute very end until it's the cat's completely out the bag. You know what I mean? And I like that about this film, that you don't really know Bradley Cooper's character until the very end, and you realize just how irredeemable he is. And it makes it kind of hard to root for anybody in this movie. You know what I mean? Everybody has kind of like their agenda that they're trying to push. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the themes of like flying too close to the sun. He was really just Icarus, wasn't he? He started smelling. He started getting high on his own supply, and he effed around and found out. You know what I mean? I think that's just really kind of a through line of this story. So Let's start with Toots. What were your? Because I've been aching to hear what your thoughts are. Because you've been kind of shadow dropping, like, Mike, I can't talk to you about this film. Mike, I can't talk to you. I can't wait to tell you what I think. So I need to hear Toots. What are your thoughts about this thing?
Okay, let's do this. I do have some questions about this movie, just so you guys know, just some questions, some of the theories along with it. But initially, um, the film's way too long. So just on a regular human mom slash old lady aspect, the movie's too goddamn long for me. It has super Twilight Zone vibes. And that Twilight Zone loves to work backwards in regards to like the stories and the irony and the twists and all kinds of stuff. I really love that. Especially no, I'm not going to spoil this because if you're willing to watch to give your life away for 2.5 hours, it is kind of worth it for the ending alone because it's like, oh no, no, because it's great.
You could,
It's an extremely slow buildup and an extremely slow burn, but it absolutely turns itself around at the end. And honestly, if you were in Bradley Cooper's shoes throughout this entire movie, you're in it to win it. And at the end, you're like, nah, I have to. I'm bowing out. I can't do this. I can't. I can't. And the thing is, Bradley Cooper doesn't have that. His decision is, I'm all in, because he's gone nuts at this point. And it's interesting that he was given warnings throughout the entire movie: is don't bite off more than you can chew. Um, yeah, so it is a fascinating movie. Don't get me wrong; it's a very good movie actually. Guillermo del Toro really stretched his arm on this one as far as creativity is concerned. As far as lengthwise, I can't imagine as a director being able to direct an hour and a half movie, let alone 2 hours 30. So my hat's off. My hat's off to a director like that who can actually corral all of these amazing actors together and do the damn thing the way he did. Um, Sidebar again. This is his second graphic novel that he worked with, as far as I'm concerned. Right? Hellboy was his first.
yep.
So good for him. This seems to be the his nightmare alley. It seems to be the things that he seems to enjoy the most is working with stories like this. Which is really cool. Yeah.
Guillermo's gonna geek. They're gonna get him to geek. They're gonna get him to do it. Guillermo's gonna geek it up. Oh, very good
There we go.
points. Very, very good points. It was long. This is a long movie. We accidentally paused it halfway, and Toots was like, "There's still half of this damn thing to watch." We were like, oh,
Genuinely pissed,
"I don't know what to
Brian.
tell you,
Genuinely
man."
upset. It was at an hour 30, and I was like, well, how the fuck long is this movie? I
Toots
was
was tight.
genuinely upset. But yeah, it was good though. It was
Yeah,
it was good. I'm just old.
we're just old Nerdiverse. Wash, hit me, man. Hit me,
Nightmare
man.
Alley. All
Nightmare
right.
Alley.
I can't. I just can't. First off, full disclosure, I'm a Bradley Cooper stan. I love Bradley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Alias, my boy.
Cool.
Bradley Cooper's the man.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, the first act is amazing. It is Oscar worthy. It is awesome. The second acts, third acts of this movie are hot freaking messes. There are 7 movies wrapped up in the last, let's talk about this, 2 and a 30-minute hour like
Thank you.
ordeal that we go through. Not to say it's not interesting, right? I'm with Tootie. I'm not to say it's not good, but what we're going through is not cohesive in any real way, shape, or form. They literally take a character, a main character, and just go, you walk over here for, I don't know, like 40 minutes and then come on back out. No one will know what will happen, but like really like 2-3 months has passed in real like lifetime. And
Mm-hmm.
Judy's like, oh, I have some questions. Full disclosure. Your boy Brian had questions too, and he had to go to the internets to find
In
out
the
the answers
nets.
because Miss Claire Blanchett, I love her. I didn't understand what the hell happened in that scene. I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
She flipped him.
And when I found out, I don't know that it made me that much more like impressed with it just because like what he wants to do is getting lost just in this time. And yeah, like all I can say is, Tootie, I yelled at the television too. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yay!
Like I
I'm
have things
human.
to do, right?
I have things
And
to do.
and it ended. I literally just sat for a minute. I turned everything off and I sat and I went. And here's my issue with this film. And Mike said it first, literal thing he said. And it's my issue with films like this in general. I don't necessarily love films that have no redeemable characters anywhere in it. You know what I mean? And I liked Bradley Cooper's character. I'm an ex salesman. Like, I get it. It's fun. I
Mhm.
like mentalism. But the most redeemable character in this is
It's his
his wife,
wife.
who got pushed away for
Molly.
40
Yes.
minutes. And when you stop and think about
Yes.
if she's redeemable, it's like, well, you went along
Along with
with
it.
this hot mess nonsense. So those are my initial thoughts about Nightmare Alley. Not to say it's a bad film, but I can definitely see why. Oh, fun fact, $60 million budget.
Thank you for the numbers.
Yeah.
So
Um,
versus, um,
against Astros Boy
Wow.
65, I know, Tootie. I did the same look. I was like, I didn't
Wow.
expect that at all.
yeah.
So, yeah, my thoughts.
It's funny. Like, I think this film would have been better served as a series, like on FX or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a series on HBO, and let Guillermo really breathe with these characters and let them develop a bit stronger. Because watch,
Dang,
It's got
Dirty
Penny
Man.
Dreadful vibes, right?
yeah, like Penny Dreadful,
It's
um,
got Penny Dreadful vibes easily.
Evil. You said the Twilight Zone with its kind of like lessons learned,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of these characters, because they are and Wash said it, like it's kind of jarring, the time jumps, right? The time jumps are kind of nuts because he's like he gets to the carnival and then he's just part of the family. How long did that take? Months, years? They decide to leave the carnival. He's completely set up doing
Right.
big giant shows. How long did that take? Months,
Well, that was two
years.
years.
Yeah, they said 2 years, right?
There were
Yeah,
So
that's
certain
it.
scenes that were way too slow and certain scenes that
they
they
were
had to
way too
speed up.
quick.
I've always loved you. I've always had my eye on you. Let's walk away. Let's run away together.
When did
What?
that
Where did that
happen?
come from?
When
You
did
know what
that
I mean?
happen?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Because I thought he was on the
With
Kate
I
Blanchett
mean, they
character.
did make it obvious. To be fair to the movie, they did make it obvious
Yeah.
that the second he got to the carnival, the first thing he did was he looked at her and he noticed her. You know what I mean? So they kind of did imply that that was going to be a thing. Speaking of those, since we're there, my question: Tony Collette, she just a hoe or like what's going on there? She
She
just
saw.
understood to just like have sex with men, or is it just that she found Bradley Cooper attractive and was her husband Phil or Paul or whatever his name was okay with it?
Paul.
I think.
Paul,
I
thank
think.
you.
Paul. I think Tony Collette's character was looking for to something to vamp up her act. And this is the prettiest face that came to the carnival and God knows when. And her husband was this old lush that wasn't paying her really any
For sure.
attention, and he was mentally checked out because he broke the rules that Bradley Cooper broke. And so he was kind of like just defeated, right? He didn't even have a show. He was just down there helping her out. So I think she saw young blood and jumped on it as a like a enchantress almost.
And Tootie, I'm gonna
Were you
go
about
the
to call her a
opposite route.
cougar?
A little
I,
bit.
I, I,
She's
I was
hot.
gonna
It's Tony
say,
Collette, man. What do you want me to say? She's hot,
I
dude.
don't want to use the words you use because it seems disrespectful to me. But
Wow.
no, man, it's the carnival. Like you know what I
Carny
mean?
folk,
Like
man.
it's the
That's
carnival.
how they
Like
get
what
down.
happens? What happens in the hay barrel stays in the hay barrel. Oh, the sad clown. Yeah, I know why he's sad. It's it's very Venice Beach vibes. You know what I mean? You're walking on Venice
Yeah.
Beach on the boardwalk, and it's like, well, what happened last night? Oh, well, Oh,
Geek got out.
yeah,
The geek got out, man.
you know what I
You had to go
mean?
get
So,
him.
I will
Yeah.
say
Yes. Yes.
I did enjoy the carnival setting. Like,
Oh
not
yeah,
enough
beautiful.
films take advantage of this 1940s like carnival, like just Wild West, if that's a thing. Like it feels old West in the 1940s, 1930s, late, and thus, yeah, I did really enjoy the time period as a
Yeah.
period piece.
Thank you for mentioning the
Okay.
time period and the stage production and the dress and the costuming. It's Guillermo del Toro. He spares no expense with this kind of stuff, right? He always knocks it out the park. But to Wash's point, I love movies in this time frame. Like ever since I was a kid, I love. Remember The Shadow with Alec Baldwin, where he played that superhero. It was set in the
Yeah,
1920s and Roaring 30s and in the 40s and stuff. And like Billy Zane with The Shadow. I mean, not Shadow, The Phantom, also set like a pulp action hero. So this being like a pulp horror film is right up my nightmare alley, so to speak. Where it almost
is
has
this a horror film?
no, I would say it's like a
No, you think so?
suspense almost. It's
All
like a
right,
crime.
all right,
It's like a suspense film
Thriller,
thriller.
suspense. Yeah,
because,
All right.
and
yeah.
that was kind of like my thing. It's
Definitely
like
noir, obviously, but
definitely noir. Yeah, like Guillermo has this beautiful way of grounding something so much, but still making you feel like you're in another world. And that Carnival always makes you feel like you're in another world, walking into the mouth of the fun house. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
With a beautiful shot of that demon mouth rising up with the water. You know what I
yeah.
mean? The Romy Mara character in the electric chair being shocked and putting on the show and tricking that sheriff. Beautifully written scene,
Yeah, that's my favorite scene of the entire film is when Bradley Cooper absolutely fucking reads him. Like
like a
I thought
book.
that was pure genius. I thought that was Bradley Cooper absolutely just coming out of his shell and understanding, you know what, I can do this. But it makes me wonder, he has been reading the book the entire time then for him to be able to do that. He's been
Yes.
lying. He's been reading the book the entire time. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So yeah, that's wild to me.
and it's like,
That's
and then you
wild.
get the
You guys have
revelation.
to watch the movie to understand exactly what I'm talking about because there's the Paul character, the Tony Collette's husband character. He has this book that just has all the tricks and trades of the magic world and how to become an actual mentalist. And it's very obvious Bradley Cooper has been cheating and studying this book. So yeah, it's it's
Keep it.
it,
You earned
it's
it.
it's it's
You earned it.
there you
That's
go.
not
That's
Tony
exactly what she.
Collette.
Oh,
Tony
that's
Collette.
so gross to me.
Hmm.
Keep it.
And
You
it's
earned
like,
it. Yeah, that's
and it's
so
like,
gross.
oh, I feel icky like watching the film. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And it's like
It's
you're trying to have a good time watching a movie, and you're like,
it's the
damn it.
passing of the Necronomicon. It's the passing of the monkey's paw, right? It's a gift and a curse. And he would and the Frenchman
Yes,
was trying to
yes.
tell him the entire time, never don't get high on your own supply. Don't do spook shows. Don't do this. Don't do that. Learn from me. But Bradley Cooper was
Right.
the entire film. He's been extremely ambitious, and he was drunk on his own ambition. I don't drink until he starts drinking, right? You know what I mean? Like his ambition grows so much that it's a hole in his heart, and like they mentioned, nothing can fill it. Not even his wife, not even the show. He just wants more and more and
And that's the
more.
thing. I always felt the Claire Blanchett character was unnecessary, but she actually was extremely vital to the story. Like, yes, she extended the movie a lot longer, but now we understand why he's doing the things he does. Now we ended up coming full circle into understanding the beginning as to why he had to get rid of the person in the beginning. I don't know if I should spoil it or not.
Spoil it. I mean, this is we have to
Okay.
because this if this movie loses, this is the last time we're ever talking about it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so in the beginning of the film, it opens up with Bradley Cooper tossing a body and burning the house down with the body. It turns out that the body that he was burning was his father, right? That's what I gathered from it. What I liked about the movie is it touched when Kate Blanchett, who is apparently a psychologist in the film, she's she's trying to figure him out because she knows for a fact she can get over on him. Fuck you that you're a mentalist. I got you. She was playing his game the entire time. He went in, he read her, you have a gun, and I bet you have it because you don't like yourself so much and you're gonna harm yourself. She pretended to be amazed. The power of a woman, a seductive woman, is absolutely insane and
Yeah,
amazing.
there's
I
no
love
arguing
noir
that.
films because those are the noir films are the ones that love to tackle that idea that a woman is a sultry seductress who's happen. On the smallest level, on the largest scale, it does happen. So it's evil to see that this woman really did jump hoops and fences and all kinds of shit to make sure that she can figure him out. She even poked at him. Somebody sexually touched you. You must have been molested as a kid, and not in those words, but she alluded to a lot of things that triggered him to say, "Fuck you, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. We had a deal. You have to do this. We had a deal. I have to take care of you as your psychologist, and I will give you the information you need on my patients in order for you to be able to mindfuck them." That was their deal, right? That was the whole thing.
And then I take the
Was
money.
like, huh?
And then I take the money.
And yeah, well, exactly. It's really well. I mean, did she though? You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah, she took it.
She
She got away with it.
She was very adamant on, and even a bigger mindfuck is that she tells him the money's not a big deal to me. It's a big deal to you. So
Because you're a small man.
after she attacks him, or after she does what he does, exactly. After she does what she does and says what she says, she still rubs it in his face that I don't need your money.
Mm-hmm.
You need your money more than I do. It's more important to you than it is to me. I'm just teaching you a lesson. Wild.
It's the lesson too. It's like Toots said. She had him clocked from day one, and she was the perfect.
For sure. Wait, but I want to hear Brian, because Brian looks like Brian
No,
wants to disagree.
no,
And
I
I
got
want to hear
nothing
it.
to
I want to
say.
hear it.
No, I don't have anything to say. It's no, we're all good. It's just when you talk about the movie and bring up certain scenes, it's just like I feel dirty. Like I feel like I got out of a bad sales meeting.
But that's
You
the
know what I
point,
mean?
Doug.
And they're like,
That's
"Hey,
the
look,
point.
if you don't go sell this old person and take all of their money, your job is
It's,
lost." And I'm
yeah,
like, "Oh, okay, sir, let's go do it." Well, ma'am, trust me, it's gonna run well for you. It's gonna run all the days of your life. And then she like literally drives off the lot and everything breaks, and it's like, damn. Yeah,
yeah.
well, bye.
It's
That's all I'm
you know what
saying.
it is. It's like and Toots mentioned that the electric chair scene was her favorite scene. My favorite scene is the climax of the film where they're doing the actual séance and the old rich scary man is in the snowfield or the snow maze, and Rooney Mara's character is not Rooney Mara what's her name?
Yeah, Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rooney
you're
Mara.
right. Yeah,
She's
you're right.
playing the ghost of that man's wife who shot herself in the face when she found out her son was killed in World War One. I want to say, and that's what happened pretty much. There's this whole scene where the mom just shoots herself in the face like on camera. It's fucking crazy. But the jig is up, right? The old man figures out he's just crying. You cocksucker, you motherfucker, dude. That this whole time I'm gonna ruin you, dude. It just
And
it just falls apart so quickly. You know what I mean?
and look,
The
I
jig
just
is
want
up.
to. I don't want to come out and have people yelling at me, salesmen all around the world, like you bastard, you're a betrayer. Look, I get it, and you know what? Bradley Cooper did provide a tad bit of hope. In my eyes, he's like his initial reasons. Oh, well, we're giving him hope. What's wrong to let him hope? You know what? It came from a good place verbally.
But he
Okay.
never meant
That's
any of it, dog.
well, but he did say it. So that's all I'm saying. In his defense, he was aware that, yeah, I'm at least giving him hope.
Bradley Cooper was trying to
Okay,
better.
what do you guys on the moral level? What do you guys feel about that though? As all three of us have been impacted by losing somebody very close to us, how do we feel about somebody telling us, "Hey, he's right there. He's right next to you. He can touch you. He's feeling you right now." Like, how do you feel about that?
That's
Personally, for me, I find that extremely pandering. I find that extremely um, insulting. But when you're lost and you're still grieving, you want something to hold on to and you want something to grab, right? When you're hopeless, you want anything to give you that hope. That also provides an ugly feeling, right?
as someone, and let me say this, as someone who's literally going through the grieving process right now, I ignorance is bliss, right? If you're ignorant and you don't understand how these things work, you're looking for anything to latch on to have that person come back into your life. You'll listen to anything that gives you some kind of glimmer of an idea of a glimpse of the person that you miss with your whole heart and spirit. But like Tootie said, if you even have a lick of sense and you can see through the BS, it's pandering, it's condescending, and it's downright ghoulish to literally bring someone back from the dead that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Like I don't like being sold up. I don't like being sold a bill of goods. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't like
Yeah, I
feeling
can appreciate
stupid.
that.
And it's like
I can appreciate that.
if someone wants to say your mom is here right now and her arm is on her, no, she's in heaven, dude. No, she's soaring the spaceway. She's at the next adventure. She's doing whatever she is, but she's not doing what you're saying she's doing. And it's like, I wouldn't want that. That's super tacky. It's bullshit, you know. It's like, but those who aren't educated are willing to latch on, and it's not even a matter of education. It's education and grief, that you're just willing to do whatever it takes to feel something that's
Yeah.
normal and to hear something that's familiar. So it's preying on sad, pained people, and it's a horrible business.
And I would like to say that, I don't know if it's been said, but that is what makes these two movies so completely separate and
Together,
opposite, but they like both deal with this theme of grief in this totally different
different
way.
way.
But each way is like very real and substantial, and you're like, I kind of get that. You know what I mean? And thus, yeah, that's what makes it
What
interesting.
what are you willing to do to bring your loved one back or to feel their presence? Are you going to create a robot child, a pet cemetery, or to bring your child back? Are you going to let this man swindle you out of hundreds of thousands of dollars to give you a glimpse of hope? Simply because you missed your loved one.
Yes, both of them have that common denominator. Yes, I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Very good. Very good conversation. But you know what time it is? It's time to break this bad boy down. It's time to say, who do you have? In the past, it would be me and Wash breaking our heads together. And one of us would have to concede to the other to have a victor. Now that Toots is the wild card, Toots is the breaking of the backs, we will have a victory on one way or another. And I love that. That makes this so much more dynamic. So I will let Wash go first by saying who he wanted to win and who now he's choosing to win.
It has not changed. I did think about this straight up until the final minutes of this cast because for me, Astro Boy is fantastic, but it's a kids movie in a lot of kid ways, and I am a 46-year-old man, so that's rough. Nightmare Alley, first act is fantastic. The rest of the movie is just a hot freaking mess. So it did leave me a lot to leave with. That said, I did enjoy both. But for me, and after I finished my Nightmare Alley viewing, I happened to speak with a friend, and they're like, well, which one would you recommend?
Mm.
And I was like, Astro Boy 2009.
There you go. Astro Boy 2009. All right, I guess it's my turn then. Astro Boy. That's one for Astro Boy. Yeah, I think Wash kind of hit the nail on the head. Astro Boy was a fun watch with some deeper tones and went pretty quick. It was a pretty quick watch. You know, it kind of kept its pace. And I think what's destroying a lot of our choices is pace. Like a lot of these movies don't have good pace, and it's breaking their backs. That's what happened with Persepolis. You know what I mean? That's what happened, and that's kind of what's happening with Nightmare Alley. Is that I feel like this is a great premise. I feel like this is a smart film, and I love both of these movies. I think they're both great, but I just feel like Nightmare Alley was bit off. Nightmare Alley bit off more than it can chew. You know what I mean? In regards to everything they want to cover. Wash mentioned there's 7 movies in one movie with Nightmare Alley. And it's trying to do a lot. It's trying to tell a lot of stories at the same time. Like, you could have had a whole arc of Rooney Mara's character and how she was going through and from her point of view. You can have a whole arc. I would love to know more about the Cate Blanchett, the Blanchett character. What's her background? Why is she the last boss of everything? But at the same time, Astro Boy holds a very special place to my heart. So it's almost nostalgia bait in a way. And I like the idea of the kind of like grief turned horribly wrong in the Astro Boy. I think that was done a bit more tastefully than in Nightmare Alley, where he's literally ghouling out people. There's not one redeeming quality amongst the entire cast outside, and everybody's dirty. But Astro was kind of, as a character, Astro is kind of not innocent, but he's not also a brand new human. He has the thoughts of the original child, so it's not like he's like new to the world. He knows how things are going. So to give an answer, my answer hasn't changed between these two films, and it may surprise you, but I got to go Astro Boy. I'm going Astro Boy with this one. I just feel like I think it has legs in this. I think it has legs in this tournament. I think it's a more concise. I think both stories are trying to tell the same story, but Astro Boy tells it better. Probably thought I was going to go Nightmare Alley, but no, I wanted to go Astro Boy. So, Toots, what was your choice? What was your choice between these two films?
Okay, well, I am a huge Guillermo del Toro fan. Like Guillermo del Toro is amazing. I don't think there's anything that he can do that's extremely wrong. There's not one thing that he's done that I have not enjoyed. Like, that was terrible. I've never said that was terrible about anything that Guillermo del Toro has done, including Nightmare Alley. It's only long because I'm old and maybe I have what is it called? ADHD. I'm undiagnosed. We'll see. But yeah, I love Nightmare Alley. Actually, it was an extremely slow burn, a slower burn than I'm actually used to be honest. But Nightmare Alley was really, really good. However, my pick was Astro Boy. I don't know if you guys can see it, but
sweep, our first sweep.
Astro Boy absolutely wins hands down because, like Mike said, like Brian alluded to, this movie is just absolutely more relatable, to be honest, than Nightmare Alley. It's really weird because Nightmare Alley deals with the past, Astro Boy deals with the future, and I think we as human beings are kind of clinging closer to what's happening in Astro Boy. We already know Elon Musk is willing and ready to ship off some people to Mars. So like we're trying to get off this planet one way or another. So there's like this weird reality involved in it. So on top of the way that it deals with grief, and because it's a children's movie, like we alluded to in Kick-Ass with the last review, kids need to understand how to grieve properly. Unfortunately, parents are passing away more suddenly than we're used to, than we're expecting because of health and diets and et cetera, and whatever. But times are changing. The mortality of a human adult is actively changing as we sit here, unfortunately, and for many reasons. So we do have a lot of children that have and are going through a lot of grief. And the Astro Boy adds an element of hope that is not false, the way Nightmare Alley did. Nightmare Alley is an absolute nightmare. It's a beautiful title for it, actually. What a nightmare to live within this revolving door of lies. No liar is happy. Nobody who constantly lies is happy. In real life, in movies, and wherever, you can write the character. You cannot write a happy character who lies constantly. It's impossible.
It is exhausting.
So yeah, Astro Boy, 1,000% hands down. As far as like movie ratings are concerned, I gave Nightmare Alley a 6 out of 10. I gave Astro Boy an 8 out of 10. Brian, you have something to say?
Ooh, 8 out of 10. All right. They were still about 6.2 for me. So they were close. It was a tight race for me, but ultimately Astro Boy.
If I had to number it, I would give like Nightmare Alley like a 3.5 out of 5, and I would give Astro Boy. I give Astro Boy like a 4. You know what I mean? Like, not a perfect film, and but like like I said, they're both talk. It's so strange that these got paired because they have the same themes. You know what I mean? That their themes are grief. The themes
That's
of
really wild.
That's super weird, right? I promise you, people, this is random select. We did not choose
select.
random select.
We
what
recorded
we
it, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's recorded, so you can see it.
Just losing somebody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like our little MOTN family just lost a very valuable player in our family. You know what I mean? So we are literally grieving right now in our own way. And all three of us have experienced grief already in losing our parents or just it doesn't really matter who it is. Grief is grief, and losing somebody very important to you is really hard to get through. So it's an interesting thing what this is, and it maybe the internet gods, the content gods, just raining down on us and like giving us shitty stream, but also giving us this idea that we of opening our minds or expanding our minds to what these movies are trying to tell us. So it's really weird, really coincidentally interesting.
I just want to say that whatever internet gods are listening, we get it. You know what I mean? You don't need to. You don't need to.
Thank you.
You don't need to sabotage our stream to make a point. You know what I mean? Tootie is such a champion. Roboting through Astro Boy. That is hilarious in retrospect.
Actually, that is pretty funny. That's
Roboting through Astro
funny.
Boy is
like
it would be
hilarious.
funny if it wasn't so frustrating. You know what I mean? But but this is MOTN. We're tough over here. We muscle through. And we figure, and when something bad happens, we figure it out and roll with the next punch. Because we're champions over here. You know what I'm saying? We get shit done. You know what I'm saying? And like this episode, this bad boy is done. Astro Boy is going on to the next round to fight Kick-Ass is how that's going to line up. So in round 2, it's going to be Astro Boy versus Kick-Ass. We're going to have to rewatch these movies again.
You don't have to rewatch them again.
We have to rewatch these movies
You
again.
don't have to rewatch
Because it
them
has to be
again.
fresh in the brain, dog. Because
That's a little too much.
We still got two other rounds.
I know, but if Nightmare Alley were to win, were you about to sit down and watch 2.5 hours of Nightmare Alley again?
No, absolutely not.
See, I'm committed. I'll watch. I'll eat the shit. I don't care.
Yeah, there was no way. I'm like, I'll watch it. Trailer. That ain't happening.
Fine.
I would like to just say, as you're talking about the next matchup in round 2, we still have next cast round 1 battle, and that is going to be a good one.
Yay!
Scott Pilgrim versus the World versus Old Boy.
I don't even know what that's gonna be, dog.
My God.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
It's
So
gonna be literally rough.
My God.
Perfect. This was a.
Good one. Holy
I cannot wait. I don't even know what that's gonna amount to, ladies and gentlemen.
Old Boy Korean, right? Please.
Yep. OG.
OG.
OG version. Yeah,
Very nice.
Korean version. In Korean. Versus Scott Pilgrim versus the World with Captain America and Ramona Flowers and all that stuff, dog. It's gonna be fucking fire. Because I read all the graphic novels. I love me some Scott Pilgrim. So I'm gonna try to put my bias to the side. You know, I swung my body to the side, you know. These random selects are so much fun. And it's so good talking points. And I'm so happy to be able to do this with you guys for this MOTN event that happens, once a year? We're going to do these random selects and just choose something, or twice a year. Depends on what our fancy is. So what I would like to do is just ask the team, is there any final thoughts on this challenge, on this versus? Any final thoughts on Nightmare Alley? Because we're probably never going to talk about this thing ever again.
way to go, Toby. I did not think you had it in you. I thought I was coming in here swinging by myself in the corner, gonna lose big time. I am super happy with the Nerdiverse today. So
It smiled upon you. 1,000 blessings on your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Astro Boy hit all the marks in the right places.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely hit all the marks in the right places. Yeah. Easily.
Told story, followed it through. It didn't have to wiggle waggle. It didn't have to go through all these twists and turns. You got it. And you rooted for the kid
And it was
all the way through.
strangely morbid.
Dark.
We're dealing with a dead child. We're literally the kid's dead the entire time, and we're still interacting with him.
Yep.
It's a very morbid movie.
The kid was never not dead.
It's dead. Ugh,
Just-
God.
like, there's an Oscar winner on that other billboard, by the way. A two-time Oscar winner.
I don't give a shit.
Kate Blanchett, man. And she got smoked.
Smoked.
And I'm like, damn, by
Kate
Astro
Blanchett
Boy?
and Toni Collette.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tony Collette.
It's not fair. It's not fair. They weren't in Astro Boy, dog. They didn't tell. No one told them not to be in Astro Boy. They could have been a robot. They could have been like a dustpan or something and killed it. But hey, it's bloodthirsty out here in the Nerdiverse, baby. It's bloodthirsty in Random Select. So let's go ahead and close this out. We hit the hour mark. Through the fire, through the windows to the walls, till the sweat runs down anyway. You know the song. Please follow us on Instagram. 2D's doing the Lord's work over there. Show her that you're watching, like, comment, and subscribe. Jump on YouTube. Which one did you pick? Are we all wrong? Is Nightmare Alley goated? Are we all just plebeians who don't understand cinema? Please let us know. And subscribe to the channel so you know when episodes are coming out or made notifications when they do land. And you can watch you some MOTN. We're going to close this one out with me saying I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. We thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Random Select.
Yay. Astro Boy. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was
I
fun.
didn't see any of that coming. Random Select is good. Yeah, Tootie, I have no idea what's going on.
It's new. It's a new setup. It's a new setup.
But I could understand. I could